I was so excited for these. Anyone that has seen my reviews of the 2s and the 3s know how much I love Sabrina Ionescu's signature shoes. I think they're just one of the best right now, maybe one of the best I've ever felt. Now these, the reason why it took so long to push this review out is because I wanted to give it a lot of tries to really give it a chance to prove me wrong. But every single time I came home from pickup feeling disappointed. Nike Sabrina 4 Limelight Glow. Now this shoe originally dropped on July 17th for $135. This is the debut colorway of the Sabrina 4s, I believe, I'm pretty sure. But this is the 4th iteration of Sabrina Ionescu's signature line with Nike. She is a star for the New York Liberty, of course. And if you didn't know, just if you aren't aware, the Sabrina 2s, Sabrina 3s, I love. The 2s especially, just, I can't say enough good things about that shoe. Like, if you've seen my review on it, you will know how much I love it. I think 3s were really good too. So I was really looking forward to this one. And my first impressions is the shape looks great. I think it still keeps that very sleek look, just kind of flatter, I think, like more angular down into the toe box, a little longer looking, maybe not in like actual measurement, but it just has this really sleek look that I really like. But the performance, let's get to the performance. But first, just 10 seconds of your time. I recently turned on memberships on YouTube. $2.99 per month. You'll get first access to every video as soon as I'm done editing it. I upload it. You'll see it first before everyone else. I'll try to post more behind the scenes content, but honestly, because this is a huge money-losing hobby for me, making YouTube videos and reviewing sneakers, these sneakers do cost a lot of money to buy. It's just another way to support me. If you've enjoyed any of my videos in the past, if you enjoyed this video, consider doing that. But if you don't, I still really appreciate you regardless. But at the very least, like and subscribe. And in terms of the box, Sabrina branding with the logo and signature on the lid, as well as the signature on the side of the box. And inside, you will see more Sabrina paper. And in terms of the materials, you will get a bunch of synthetics. So you see like around the Rand toe box area, that is just like synthetic there. On the base layer there, that is like textile. And it does have this shape where it extends around where the widest part of your toes are. The way that's shaped, that is pretty good because it is softer in those areas, gives some flexibility in that forefoot area. And around the mid panels, you will get mesh, and it has this haptic pattern over it. So you can actually feel it, that's raised. And that raised haptic design isn't just for like design purposes, that also provides some extra support and durability there. And the swoosh itself, that is also slightly raised. It does have this mirrored aesthetic, and according to Nike.com, the mirrored aesthetic is supposed to represent athletes seeing themselves in their shoes. And you also see that on the medial side of the shoe, not raised on this one. And the reason why, again, according to Nike.com, this swoosh is shaped like going up the way it is because Sabrina wants this to represent her shattering glass ceilings. And moving around to the booty of the shoe, you will get I. Of course, that represents the I and Ionescu's last name, and you do see at the tip of the toe box her number 20. And then moving up the tongue, you will just get these lime green laces out of the box, no extra laces. The tongue itself does provide pretty good breathability, like similar to the type of tongue that you'll see on like a Kobe 6. And right at the tip of the tongue, again, more synthetic materials, but you do see this Sabrina logo here. That is actually like its own piece, so it's not printed or anything. So in terms of the materials on the Sabrina 4s, maybe slightly better than past iterations of Sabrina's shoes, but still nothing like premium, generally synthetics. That is pretty common for a basketball shoe in 2026. It does have weight savings to it compared to like really nice genuine leather, as nice as that may feel. And in terms of the cushioning of the Sabrina 4, it does just come with a Cushlon 3.0 midsole, as well as a Zoom Air unit in the forefoot. So basically the same since the Sabrina 2s. If you know me, if you've ever seen any of my past videos, you will know that Cushlon 3.0 midsoles are one of my favorites. Just gives you that really good balance between being plush but also not too stiff where it feels like it's gonna hurt your knees. I am in my mid-30s. I just can't stand cushioning that is super stiff nowadays, especially like an old Phylon midsole shoe. It's just too much for me. I find the Cushionon 3.0 just finds the greatest balance. Like, it's not so soft where you feel that lag time when you're pressing down, you don't get an explosion back up, but it's soft enough where it doesn't like put too much stress, where it doesn't like destroy my knees or anything. So I really love that. But one thing they've also added to this shoe that makes it feel slightly different underfoot is what they call the flight plate. And this flight plate, it really is a plate because it extends up into the forefoot. So that flight plate is supposed to increase propulsion and energy return. So that makes sense in like theory, but in practice, it just kind of limits the flexibility of the shoe. So it's not just like a midfoot plate. So some shoes like have full length carbon fiber plates, and when you first put your feet in, it does feel kind of stiff around the forefoot area. Like the way it limits your flexibility, it just feels kind of weird. I do prefer just a midfoot plate because this definitely feels different than like the 2s and the 3s. It does provide pretty good like rigidity, but yeah, I just don't love the way it feels in terms of the lack of flexibility. And you will actually see on the midsole here that flight plate, just to the touch, feels slightly stiffer, and you don't really feel too much of that zoom air in the forefoot because of the flight plate. So that's one thing. I don't think it's like a deal breaker, but you do notice it a little bit when you're really trying to like feel for any differences between the 3s and the 4s, but I don't think it makes too big of a difference. And in terms of the outsole, you will see this rubber outsole with Sabrina's logo all over. So that is slightly different than like the herringbone traction we saw on the 2s that worked really well. That brings me to my absolute least favorite thing about this shoe. It is the traction. It is doo-doo. I do not like how this shoe grips. It just is really poor. I played the same day like multiple times. I switched from the JAR 4 to this shoe, same gym. JAR 4 was great. On this, it was trash. And then I played in this, then I switched to the Kobe 1 Pro Tro on another day, like totally different day. Same gym though. Again, this felt like doo-doo compared to the Kobe 1s. So the traction on these, biggest letdown. And that is probably the one thing that I prioritize the most when it comes to a basketball shoe. If a shoe doesn't have good traction, I basically will rule it out. I just don't want the shoe no more. I guess you will see though the storytelling with the S's come through, and then the middle cutout is also shaped like an S, and you will see actually on that cutout it says everyone, everywhere. That is a common theme that has passed on from shoe to shoe, and you actually see on the medial side this little part here that is shaped like an I. Now, one good thing about the traction, I guess, is that the traction on the medial side here at the toe extends upwards. So if you ever find your foot going this way, provides some friction so it doesn't slide all the way out. Now, if you want to take these outdoors, you probably can. Apparently the rubber here is slightly more durable, so it's meant to be better outdoors. However, I don't really play outdoors no more. My knees and my body just will not hold up on like concrete. Now, in terms of overall support and lockdown, there is an internal heel counter on the shoe that feels pretty good and stable with the way the heel is shaped. That also kind of holds your foot in place. The lacing system here, really good, provides really good lockdown in the midfoot as well as the forefoot area. And the materials itself, as a lightweight player, I don't feel like my foot is really gonna bust through these materials. So it does hold my feet in place pretty good, especially doing side-to-side movements. So no complaints there. And in terms of the insoles, it is glued down pretty tightly, but it is nothing special. Expect that for a $135 Nike shoe. Now, in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For most Nike basketball shoes, I do feel like it takes a bit of break-in time, especially in the forefoot area. I felt that with the Sabrina 3s, Sabrina 2s a little bit, but once those two shoes like really broke in, didn't have any issues. This, I went true to size. There was a little bit more room, I felt like, especially in the toe box area. I felt like compared to the 2s and the 3s, less break-in time. So I do recommend, even if you have wide feet, just stick true to size. And in terms of the comfort, Cushionon 3.0 underfoot, if you want to wear this like casually, you definitely can, because it's a really comfortable type of cushioning setup. Might not be the most durable type of cushioning. I do know some like heavyweight players struggle with the durability of the Cushionon 3.0, but for me, yeah, haven't experienced that issue. Now, in terms of the weight, because of the materials used, it's actually slightly heavier than the 2s, slightly heavier than the 3s as well. But I don't think at 13.7 ounces for a size 9.5 in men's US, it is not too heavy. This is definitely not the lightest shoe that you can get, but I definitely don't think it's like a heavy, clunky shoe. And in terms of where you sit in the shoe, it is actually very low profile, so you get that court feel, which a lot of basketball players do prefer. Now, because this is a performance shoe, I don't give it a soul score. The metrics just don't really make sense, but I do have a final verdict of the shoe, and I am disappointed. And that's generally because I just rate the 2s and the 3s really, really high. Like some of my favorite basketball shoes ever, especially modern day basketball shoes. I didn't spend a lot of time in the 1s, so I don't want to give any opinion there, but at least compared to the 3s and the 4s, I do think this is a step backwards. Even though in a vacuum, like not comparing this shoe to anything else, I still think it's a decent shoe, especially at a pretty affordable price range. But if you want to spend $135, why not buy her best shoes, the 2s and the 3s? So that's it. Thanks for watching Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Sabrina 4 Limelight Glow. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.